On July 24, 2022, two guys armed with handguns entered Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry on Ramson Avenue in Brooklyn and proceeded to rob the congregation, all while they were holding service on live stream. The incident went viral.
All right. Nobody move.
It was reported that $1 million in jewelry was taken, including a $75,000 Rolex and a Cuban link chain valued at $390,000, all belonging to Pastor Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead. $1 million in jewelry? You may be asking the same question. Who is this Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead? Born in 1978, Brooklyn, New York, said to be son of Arthur Miller Jr., who died in police custody in 1978, a few weeks after Lamar's birth, Mr. Miller was respected in the neighborhood and a successful businessman. According to an article written by New York Times, it said 16 officers had swarmed in to subdue Mr. Miller and his 21-year-old brother Samuel. A struggle broke out between the Millers and two officers who had attempted to arrest the younger man for allegedly driving with a suspended license. Autopsy showed that fatal force had been applied to the Larnacks. His death sparked outrage in the community. He wasn't the first black male to die by the hands of the cops, but due to the popularity of the case, at the time, it became known as the first I Can't Breathe case. Lamar was raised by his mom. He was offered an athletic scholarship from Shaw University and Farmingdale University, but enrolled at Eastern New Mexico University to study accounting and videography. For whatever reason, he ended his studies at New Mexico University and moved back home to New York. During his time back home, he became a licensed real estate broker and a licensed New York chaplain and certified marriage and funeral officiant. He founded the Leaders of Tomorrow International Churches in March of 2014. The robbery wasn't the only time the bishop went viral. Back in September of 2022, he attacked one of his church visitors, a lady by the name of Tarsha Howard.
Why they take pictures and they want to be on social media. Take the pictures. 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 Okay, now go over here. Go over here. Grab her. Grab her out. Grab her out. Now you're going to grab
her in the pulpit. You have to be a minister to be in the pulpit in my church. So she came on the side and she began to yell at me. She began to cuss me out and say whatever she wanted to say. I let her say what she wanted to say, and I'm going to be posting more video because you guys didn't see the video inside of the church. What you guys don't see on camera is that she started to walk back to leave, and then she spit back around. And she came back after my wife and my daughter. So I have my wife and my daughter, who's 10 months old, sitting there, and she came and said, and now you're a liar, going towards my wife. And that's when you see her walk in front of me, going at my wife and my daughter, and I grabbed her. Everybody's saying that I choked her. How can you choke somebody from behind?
Now, Bishop Whitehead says that he was actually set up by the woman and some other people to create this ruckus.
But Ms. Howard said that this is all false. I'll let her explain in the sit-down she did about the incident.
I am an author, and I am writing a book. And the purpose of my book is I am using case studies for research. And I've been researching various denominations within our community. And the book is about the impact of charismatic leadership within the African American community. And so with that being said, this particular person became sort of an interest during the incident that happened back in July. And this became one of my case studies. This man, who's supposed to be a bishop in the Lord's church, called me up and ushered me up to the front. And once I got up there, I began to speak in my heavenly language. And I don't know what happened, but that's when it went left. I was praying in my heavenly language. And next thing I know, I was being grabbed behind my hair and drug out in the videos that everyone is seeing online. I have a long scratch on my neck. And the thing that I want to let everyone know is that there's another narrative going around that I purposely went there to start some type of trouble. I'm not on that type of time. I was there for the purpose of me receiving content and doing research. As the lie that I've heard recently is that I charged after his wife. That is a lie. I did not charge after anyone's wife. I came there in peace.
But no matter who was right or wrong, the situation was a bad look for the bishop. I found court documents from a petition filed on behalf of Lamar Whitehead in 2016. In it was a detailed account of his 2005 fraud case. For the sake of privacy, I'm going to block out the victim's name. It stated that Lamar Whitehead used his ex-girlfriend Valerie Rodriguez, who had access to personal information which she obtained through her job at Barron Honda car dealership. Ms. Rodriguez would supply Lamar Whitehead with stolen identities. He would then turn around and use that information to open various loans under the victim's name. Authorities were tipped off after one of the victims received a phone call from a loan representative about a recent application. Knowing that she wasn't the one to apply, she called the local authorities. Detectives investigated and discovered that a loan was taken out in the victim's name to obtain a motorcycle. The same motorcycle Lamar Whitehead was arrested in. The sales agreement was signed in the forged signature of the victim. The driver's license photocopy that was required had the victim's detail but someone else's face, who detectives determined was a woman accused of being friends with Lamar Whitehead. He was eventually convicted and sentenced. Back in December of 2022, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams and Assistant Director Michael J. Driscoll of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, New York Division, announced indictment charges against Lamar Whitehead for fraud, extortion, and giving false statements to the FBI. The indictment stated that Lamar Whitehead convinced one of his congregation members to invest $90,000 of her retirement savings into him, but instead misused the funds for personal gain. He also was accused of extorting a businessman for $5,000, then attempted to convince the same businessman to lend him $500,000 and give him a stake in a certain real estate transaction in return for favorable actions from the New York government, which Lamar Whitehead could not obtain. When questioned by the FBI, the bishop falsely claimed that he only had one phone, when in fact he had a second phone which he referred to as my second line. He was recently found guilty of all 3 charges and faces up to 45 years in prison. Nowadays, you can catch the pastor on his Instagram flaunting his wealth and even posting updates of his recent case.
God is still able.